I let two men in fake uniforms cuff me on my own porch, while the neighborhood busybody stood there grinning like she had just won the lottery. Their excuse? I had violated community bylaws. The only thing that got tested that day was my patience, not their authority. But let me take you back to the beginning. 3 months earlier, I had finally hung up the badge after 20 years on the force, 15 in SWAT, and the last 5 as chief of police in a mid-sized city outside Charlotte. The house on Maple Ridge Lane was supposed to be my reward, a tidy brick ranch with big oaks, green lawns, and the kind of quiet where you hear cardinals instead of sirens. My late wife, Ellen, used to joke that the moving box labeled old case files, burn, was the only one worth keeping. Most of those files were commendations, but a few still smelled like gunpowder and bad coffee. Grandpa Harlan's army photo went up first on the mantle. He taught me to shoot straight, fish patiently, and spot a liar from 50 yards. He believed in order, the sturdy kind that lets decent folks sleep at night, not the petty kind that measures grass with a ruler. I figured Maple Ridge would give me both. For 3 weeks it did. I unpacked, built a workbench in the garage, and met the neighbors. Big Tom across the street waved every morning while running his leaf blower like it was a jet engine. The young couple next door, the Harrisons, brought over a plate of chocolate chip cookies still warm from the oven. Life felt lighter. Then the first red notice slid under my windshield wiper. My lawn was allegedly a quarter-inch too tall, in violation of Section 4, Paragraph B of the Maple Ridge Community Covenants. $50 fine. Signed, Evelyn Cartwright, President, Maple Ridge Homeowners Association. I glanced at Tom's yard. Same height. Same green. My gut tightened the way it used to when a domestic call was about to go sideways. I folded the paper and stuck it in my pocket. Day off, I told myself. Pretend you're just a guy with a new mortgage. The next morning 2 more notices appeared. One repeat on the lawn, one new because my trash can lingered 3 hours past pickup. $75. Total owed, $125. The language had teeth now. Immediate compliance, further action. Boilerplate intimidation meant to scare people who think pretty letterhead equals law. I watched from the window as a woman with a clipboard and a haircut sharp enough to slice bread stopped in front of my house. She stared, scribbled, and met my eyes without smiling. Evelyn Cartwright. She radiated the smug certainty of a queen inspecting her kingdom. That evening I drove downtown to the county clerk's office, a marble mausoleum that smells of old paper and older secrets. The clerk, a tired woman with glasses on a chain, typed the association name 3 times. Nothing. No HOA, no covenants, no record of any kind ever filed with the original plat. She printed me 2 certified letters on official letterhead stating exactly that. $25 each. I paid gladly. Facts are stubborn things. Back home, the certified letters sat on the kitchen table like loaded weapons. I could march over to Evelyn's house, hand them over, and watch the air go out of her balloon. But bullies don't deflate, they relocate. I needed her to escalate, to overplay her hand so completely that a judge would have no choice but to bury her. This wasn't about $50 anymore. It was about every neighbor who had paid to make the red papers stop. I called Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, my rock at the department. Off the books background on Evelyn Cartwright, I said. She laughed dry enough to start a fire. On it, Chief. While Sarah dug, I turned the house into an observation post. Tiny cameras covered every angle, feeding a private server. A shirt button hit a microphone good for 50 feet. A plain black ring on my right hand would send a 2-tap panic alert to Sarah's phones and stream live audio and video. I had never used a panic button in my life. First time for everything. I put Officer Jack Brennan on standby, ex-Marine, quiet, built like a refrigerator. I asked Tom and the Harrisons to film any commotion from their windows. Tom chuckled. Evelyn already fined me because my garden gnome offended community aesthetics. You bet I'll record, Chief. The trap was baited. All I had to do was wait. Morning fog clung to the oaks when the black SUV with tinted windows rolled up. 2 men stepped out in navy shirts, silver badges, shoulder patches that almost looked real. Close up the crests were wrong, the belt leather too shiny, the holsters rented. They moved like actors who had watched too many cop shows. Evelyn stood behind them holding her clipboard like a battle standard. They pounded on my door. I opened it wearing the confused citizen face I had practiced in the mirror. Warrant for your arrest, the bigger one barked, shoving a paper at me. The seal was counterfeit, the judge retired 5 years ago. The charge, criminal defiance of community bylaws, pure fiction. This feels extreme for a lawn fine, I said calmly. Evelyn stepped forward, eyes glittering. You were warned, Mr. Thompson. We do not tolerate lawbreakers on Maple Ridge. Comply, or we do this the hard way. I raised my hands. No trouble. I will comply. Their relief was almost funny. The big guy fumbled cheap cuffs around my wrists, yanking harder than needed. I looked straight at Evelyn and gave her the smallest smile. Her face twisted. Wipe that grin off, she snapped. They marched me down the walk in full view of the street. Tom's leaf blower roared to life across the way. The young Mrs. Harrison filmed from her upstairs window. Phones rose like periscopes. I stumbled on purpose near the SUV, letting my cuffed hands brush the rear bumper. Between my fingers I palmed a magnetic GPS tracker the size of a quarter. Click. It locked to the frame. Sarah's phone screamed miles away. 2 taps on the ring. Alert sent. You are making a serious mistake, I said loud enough for the mic. Impersonating an officer is a felony. The smaller guy laughed. Shut up and get in, old man. They shoved me into the back seat. The door slammed. As the SUV pulled away, I heard Tom's blower rev like a challenge and Evelyn shouting about decibel violations. The neighborhood was wide awake and recording from every angle. Inside the SUV, the air smelled of pine cleaner and stale fries. The passenger twisted around. Should have paid the fine. Would have been easier. I gave him nothing. Silence rattles amateurs. The driver spoke low into a burner phone. Yeah, we got him. Heading to the spot now. I knew the spot, an empty industrial park 10 miles out, perfect for a quiet scare and release. I also knew Sarah was already moving ghost cars into position. The tracker pulsed on her screen like a heartbeat. 20 minutes later, the construction van ahead braked hard. Our driver cursed and stomped his pedal. A black sedan kissed our rear bumper. Jack's pickup boxed the left lane. In 2 seconds, we were locked in a rolling cage. Doors flew open. Real tactical gear, real weapons, real commands overlapping like thunder. Police. Hands on the dash. Now. The fake cops froze. Jack's voice cut through. Hands where I can see them. The driver raised trembling fingers. The passenger whimpered. Back doors ripped open. Chief, you okay? A young officer asked. Cuffs came off. I stepped into daylight surrounded by my own people. The suspects were spread on the hood, searched, read their rights. Jack held up an evidence bag. Airsoft pistol on the passenger, 9mm with filed-off serial under the driver's seat. Federal time just got added to the menu. Sarah pulled up, phone to her ear, nodding once. Warrants incoming. I looked at the 2 shaking men in real cuffs. They were hired muscle. Time to reel in the brains. The SUV gave up its secrets fast. Stacks of pre-printed red notices, a binder with neighborhood maps and circled houses, $5,000 in rubber-banded cash labeled by address, a lockbox of fake badges, and a burner phone. Sarah's tech extracted the last call, 10 minutes before they arrived at my door, to a contact labeled E-Boss. Number traced to Evelyn Cartwright. A text sent 20 minutes ago. Is the trash taken out? Trash. My blood went cold. A brass key on the visor read Stormore Unit 218. Jack's team hit the facility. The key turned smooth. Inside was Evelyn's factory. Commercial printer, boxes of red paper, filing cabinets stuffed with victim files. My folder sat on top. Property records, move-in date, every fake notice. Drawer 2, Willow Creek. Drawer 3, Pine Ridge. Drawer 4, Shell Company ledgers and forged county seals. Bank warrants showed $250,000 funneled through fake LLCs. The burner revealed a board meeting that night in Evelyn's garage. We rolled silent. Unmarked cars sealed both ends of Maple Ridge. Jack and I staged in Tom's backyard while he pretended to watch a ball game with the volume loud. A directional mic caught Evelyn raging inside the garage. Unacceptable. He was supposed to be simple. Now my employees are gone. I gave the signal. We slipped through the side door. Police. Nobody moved. Evelyn stood at a folding podium. 2 nervous neighbors sat at a card table. For 1 heartbeat, everything stopped. Then Evelyn shrieked, toppled the podium, and bolted for the house. Jack cut her off. She fought like a feral cat. I took her other arm. Evelyn Cartwright, you are under arrest for extortion, conspiracy, racketeering, impersonation, forgery. The cuffs clicked home. I turned her to face her board. This is what happens when you mock the law. Patrol lights painted the street red and blue. Neighbors watched from porches as the Queen was loaded into a cruiser. The spell was broken. 1 month later, I sipped coffee on my porch while kids biked past, and Tom mowed in peaceful circles. Evelyn drew 15 years federal, full restitution, and a lifetime ban from any HOA roll. Her printer, SUV, and Shell accounts were forfeited. Victims got checks with interest. A statewide hotline flushed out 2 copycat scams the following week. Inside, Grandpa Harlan's photo smiled from the mantel. He always said rules should serve people, not the other way around. Maple Ridge proved it. The fake badges now sit in our training room. Reminders that trust is earned, not printed. The quiet I bought this house for is back. The kind you earn when bullies learn the law has longer arms than their lies. What do you think? Should neighborhoods fight back harder against petty tyrants? Or is the system enough when it finally wakes up? Drop your take in the comments. Ever faced a bully hiding behind fake authority? Tell us where you draw the line between order and oppression.